Draymond Green certainly raising the bar for the Golden State Warriors. Listen to what he said his Warriors will do the rest of the season.
I'm sorry. I said I think we're going to win a championship, but I lied. We are going to win the championship.
Wow.
Because I don't believe any of these teams are that great. Boston, yes, you got to go through Boston. You got to get through the champs. But we got to get through the West first. But none of these teams scare me. I'm going to follow Jimmy Butler. I'm going to follow Steph Curry. And we're going to follow those two guys right to a championship.
Bobby Marks, Udonis Haslam with us. All right, so you heard it. UD, your former teammate, you believe what he's saying there? He says he's going to help basically Jimmy Butler lead them back to the championship and win it all again this year.
Well, two things can be true. Draymond can be smart as hell and crazy as hell at the same time. There's no way that they win a championship. There's no way they win a championship this year. But what I will say is adding Jimmy Butler has unlocked Steph Curry to a tremendous level right now. He's actually leading the league in points. He's leading the league in field goals. He's leading the league in three-pointers made since the trade. So, yes, he raises the level of Steph Curry, unlocks him, but this is not the year for them.
Bobby, your thoughts on what Draymond had to say?
Well, listen, if we're basing it off the 4 games since the Butler trade, I think there's an argument to be made, but the reality is it's an 82-game schedule here. And this Golden State team, there's a lot of work to do. When you look at the standings today, they're in the 10th seed right now. 6 out of their 8 games are on the road coming out of the break here. I think we'll learn a lot about this team against Sacramento. That's the team that's in front of them in the standings. They got to get out of that 9-10 hole. If they're going to make a run, they got to get closer to 6, even stay in that 7 to 8 seed range.
So, UD, let me ask you something. Your Miami Heat squad with Jimmy Butler playing, got it to the championship. Why can't he do the same with Golden State?
Because that team was a group of guys that had a chip on your shoulder. And we used to use the motto is the chip will make you a monster. So that was a team full of have-not guys who felt like if we can get teams in the mud, we can grind it out and we can beat any team in a 7-game series. That was the makeup of that group and of that team. I just don't think that they have that makeup in that group right now in Golden State. But what I will say is they are one player, one move away from actually being a championship team. But there's too many teams in front of them that just have too much ground to make up right now. You can't take away what OKC is doing. You can't take away what Houston has been able to do. You can't take away the big move that the Lakers made and what they've been able to do in the last couple of weeks. So it's just too much ground for them to make up right now, I think.
Okay, Bobby Marks, do you think Steph's championship window is closed then?
Well, I thought it was closed before the trade. I think it's slightly open right now. I don't think it's going to be this year, though, if there's going to be another championship for Steph Curry. I think, as UD said, there's got to be another move to be made, and it's likely going to be this offseason. We haven't even seen Jonathan Kuminga and kind of how he fits with this group, and who's a restricted free agent and is going to look for a big payday this offseason.
All right, let's stay in the West, guys, and let's talk about the Lakers. While the future looks to be headed in a new direction there in L.A., LeBron was asked if Luka could help extend his career. Take a listen.
No, I have not given it that type of thought. Just the excitement of being able to add a caliber player like that, a generational talent like that to our franchise, is something that's given me energy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. I think we only had, 2 games? 2 games so far. So, as we continue to, get into form, as he continues to get in form, I think we could be really good going down the stretch, but we see what happens.
So, UD, you know LeBron very well from you guys' time in Miami. Do you think Luka can help LeBron get one last title?
I definitely think so. I think offensively, they'll work that out. LeBron is the ultimate teammate. He's played with Dwayne Wade. He's played with Kyrie Irving. So offensively, he'll make Luka comfortable. Can they maintain the defensive intensity and the defensive mindset that they have? We saw last year what Boston was able to do with Luka and put him in a lot of different situations defensively. So for me, can they maintain that defensive focus? I love the versatility that they have on the wing. They have Hachimura, they have Finley Smith, so they have length on the wing. The problem will be if they run into the Denver Nuggets with Jokic or if they run into the OKC combination of Chet and Hartenstein. That's where I think they'll have problems.
All right, Bobby, along those lines, you heard what UD just say. Do the Lakers have enough, let's say, length, guys, bigs, to challenge the elite teams in the West?
No, they don't. They did have that big in Mark Williams before they rescinded that trade. And I think when you look at this Lakers team, UD hit it on the head. Man, you're going to have to go through Oklahoma City or Denver or even with Memphis with Jaren Jackson and Zach Edey here. So that's the biggest concern for me as far as size for this Lakers team getting out of the Western Conference.
So then, UD, let me go back to you about the Lakers. Do they need to change the way they play instead of LeBron, make Luka the focal point?
Not at all. I think you continue to play the way you play. I think that's a conversation for LeBron to have with Luka Doncic. I've seen those situations where we would land in a different city and LeBron or Dwayne would grab his iPad, he would go to LeBron's room and he would have those conversations. Hey, this is what I can do for you. This is where I need you to be your best version. This is how I can help you be your best version. And those guys work that out. So that's a conversation that your best two players are going to have, and the other guys in the locker room are going to fall behind.
What do you think about that, Bobby?
Well, I'm interested to see what happens with this Lakers team after the All-Star break, because before the break with the 2 games with Luka, he played a lot off the ball. Is the ball going to be more in his hands? Is usage rate going to go up here? Is he, certainly Austin Reeves going to defer a little bit more here? I think that's going to be the telltale sign as far as, do we get post 40-year-old LeBron and do we get All-Star Luka version here? That's how this team is going to get to a Western Conference Finals or perhaps farther than that.
He says Western Conference Finals. UD, where do you see the ceiling for this Lakers squad?
I definitely see Western Conference Finals. They definitely have the ability to get to the Western Conference Finals. You put yourself in a position where you can get that 4th spot, you get home court in the first round, and then you put yourself in a position in the next round where you continue to grow that offense with Luka and LeBron, knowing that if you can put yourself in game-winning situations.
To the West first, but none of these teams scare me. I'm going to follow Jimmy Butler. I'm going to follow Steph Curry, and we're going to follow those 2 guys right to a championship.
Okay. The Golden State Warriors are 28 and 27 right now. They're the 10 seed in the Western Conference, which means they're in the play-in. Draymond Green, how I look at it, guys, he did this for one of 2 reasons. A, he believes it. And he's been there and done that, so he knows what a championship team looks like. Or B, he knows that maybe this is the last dance and he's putting some extra pressure on them, that if they don't pull it off this year, maybe there is that conversation in the offseason about trading Draymond or trading Jimmy Butler, who now has 2 years left under contract, so the incoming team doesn't have to worry about him complaining about a deal. I don't know which reason it is, but I kind of love it. I got to be honest with you.
I love it too, because this is what Draymond does, right? He stirs the pot. He provides that spark for his team in whatever way necessary. And I think that's what he's doing here. And I also can understand his thought process of knowing what a championship team looks and feels like and saying, I don't want to doubt myself. I'm not going to doubt Steph. And now we have playoff Jimmy in the mix. That certainly could be a catalyst for the Golden State Warriors. However, as much as he can say all of that, and I can understand the thought process, do I think that they're better than Denver? No. Do I think that they're better than OKC? No. So he can try to instill that belief within his team and maybe add some pressure, like you mentioned, Evan, and the reality of the situation is, I don't know if we're going to see them get it done.
Here's what I'll say. They got the pieces to make it real interesting. And I said at the beginning of the season that I thought the Golden State Warriors had another championship run in them. I'm not saying they're going to get to the NBA Finals, but could they put it all together and get to the conference finals? Sure. I think that's entirely possible. Think about how good they're going to be defensively, right? They're 3-1 since the Jimmy Butler trade with impressive wins on the road against Milwaukee and the Houston Rockets. I will say this, if you talk about this team improving on the defensive end and then having another option to go to aside from Steph Curry in clutch time in the final 5 minutes in closely contested games, then all of a sudden you can see a world where this team is on the right side of a lot of those outcomes because you have 2 guys that can get it done in the biggest moments in Steph and Jimmy Butler. And then you've got the playmaking from Draymond Green, somebody that can initiate offense, so Steph and Jimmy don't have that pressure on them either. So I think this is a very unique position for both Steph and Jimmy Butler to be in, to have a chance to play alongside each other, and to also know what this team can be defensively. It's hard to say that the Warriors have had another offensive guy that can create for himself and others in Golden State since Kevin Durant was there. Like, just thinking about it. Like, just thinking about all of the players that they've had, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, those guys are great. Those guys are really good players in this league. But those guys can't create on offense like Jimmy Butler. They just can't. You don't trust those guys in the same way with the ball in their hands down the stretch to make the right play, whether it's them calling their own number or being able to get it to somebody else in their spot like Jimmy Butler. To be able to have that combo package of Steph and Jimmy, even at this stage in their careers, I still think that there's a chance that they could channel some of that greatness once we start talking about playoff-style basketball.
Guys, if Draymond Green is right about this, then I need to set something up here. There's something coming. I may have a hot take.
Oh, boy.
Unsportsmanlike.
Wait a minute! Whoa!
Hot take alert.
Smoking hot!
Go to red alert.
Guys, if Draymond Green is right and the Golden State Warriors win a championship this year, number 5 for Steph Curry, I would rather have Steph Curry's career than LeBron James's career.
Ooh, that is scorching hot, sir.
I would rather win 5 championships with one team than 4 championships with 3 teams. I would rather be beloved in one city forever and have a home forever and do it the way that Steph did versus 4 the way that LeBron did. LeBron will go down as the better player. I'm not doubting that. LeBron will go down as the second greatest player of all time. Not doubting that. But if you said to me, with my personal preferences in terms of how to operate, if Steph Curry won a championship this year with this team adding Jimmy Butler midseason, I'd rather have Steph Curry's career than LeBron James's career.
Wow.
I don't hate that take.
I don't either.
Wow. So it's not that hot then, I guess.
No, every athlete wants to have a home. And even though it feels like LeBron's home will be Cleveland because he was born and bred there and what he was able to do in bringing a championship to that city, like for Steph Curry, the Chase Center is the house that he built.
Correct.
And he ushered in a new era of the NBA with, three-point shooting and what he was been able to do in terms of changing the overall game.
Transcendent.
Yeah, Steph Curry's legacy, I mean, both with the Golden State Warriors and in the league is